So we're here in the new office. I wanted to kind of show you guys around the space because I want your guys' ideas to design the office and how we're gonna do things. So I don't know if you guys remember, but last time we actually did have a very similar unit on where we were running things, but now we have one that's kind of like the complete opposite. So I wanted to kind of show you guys the office, but in the next vlog, you'll kind of see us literally negotiating the price of the office and then actually going forward and signing on the office, and then you'll see that in the next vlog. And we have my mom's G-Wagon in here that we recently got to her, so it's a little bit of a jump. This video is gonna come out before that, but this is our office space right now. It's super dope. What we're planning on doing is having our desks like throughout this area here and having the upstairs as more or less like a conference area. We do fit a few cars in here. As you guys can see, I got the Bug, and I just recently had my Cullinan tinted in here right now as we were working and stuff. So this space is gonna be mainly for like the cars and stuff. And I was thinking over here about having the trading desks. One thing that I do wanna do in the near future is I wanna grab like 4 or 5 different students of mine that are already in the day trading institution, and I want them to come out here and trade with me every single day, which is why we got this space, because I want to start trading from here too every single day. It gives me something to do in the mornings other than just kind of wake up and hop on my computer, wake up, go to the gym, and then come to the office here, which you guys kind of already know from the previous vlogs. Is we have another suite on the other side, which we have the gym and everything in here, so it's super dope. So this area, thinking about just putting desks and stuff, trading setups, a few setups here. Over here, we're thinking about putting a couch with some other furniture. We got the TV over there already. Kitchen, and then upstairs we're gonna have for conferences. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a run through the setup. This is what I have for now, which is literally just my laptop, but I need to get my 6 monitor setups. Now it's like, oh damn, you know, what the fuck do you need 6 monitors for? Well, I do 3 monitors and then 1 ultra wide monitor, but it's for the different trading programs that I'm running, all the order flow programs, MetaTrader 5, TradingView, like there's just so many different things. Discord, so I need to do that. I need a PC. For those of you guys that build custom PCs, send me a DM on Instagram at Lambo Raul. But it's pretty dope. We still gotta like clean up the floors and stuff. We're still moving in. We still need to get a bunch of furniture. So I think the office is gonna be pretty dope. And especially when it comes to like the content, it's gonna be dope too. Content's gonna be dope too. But we're gonna see something. But also, not just that. I just got the Cullinan tinted. And a lot of you guys were like, in my DMs when I first got it, you guys were like, no, don't ever tint the Cullinan because of the interior. Bro, this looks so much better. I know you're doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
This looks so much better with the actual window tints. But we'll kind of see what goes on with the office and stuff. Put some neon signs up, you know, make it nice vibe. Because right now it's super empty and it feels super empty. It is. But we'll see what we do with the office. But other than that, guys, so today I ended up making a total profit, as you guys can see, of $54,000 on ES. Other than that, I don't know what these guys are doing. Looks like AD's brought his stuff and he's moving in. And by the way, like those bottles, I don't know where
They came from your car, bro.
that's a problem.
I left.
Let's go, honey bun. Let's go, Satan.
I have 2, but I need to get 1 more monitor, and I need to get the stand and all that. I need to get the PC.
Yeah. You want to get a PC one?
Yeah, of course. I need it to run all my shit. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna bring my Mac that I used to use with the monitors here, because I switched the whole entire setup and bring the old one here. It's just, I still like my old one. It's just all the clapped, bro, on YM cells. Like, no, I didn't get clapped, so I wasted my time, call it. Cause bro, I have
broke even?
Yes, bro. That to me is like a disrespect, bro. Bro, I 45 minutes
I
in
wanted to
these
give you guys
cells,
a
and I
quick
was up.
intro to the office. But other than that, bro, let's get right into this breakdown. The thing is, there's a little bit more order flow that I wanted to talk about on the trades that I took today, but I don't have my full setup here. I don't have the Bookmap installed on my laptop. I don't have the Delta footprint installed on this laptop either. So I kind of give like a quick explanation for you guys on why I took the trades that I did on those areas. But the breakdown, it came out, I think, pretty good. But today's been my largest trading day so far in the year. And my goal this year is to break my 100K day. I mean, it's to break my 100K record. I think my biggest trade in a single day was 220,000, but that was, bro, I'm talking about years ago. I mean, we were coming back from Vegas and it was a swing trade and it was a short on gold. I want to break my biggest trading day on indices first, which was I think 150K realized, meaning that's where I closed the trade. Because I've been up like 170, but then price pulls back and I close out at like 150. But we're inching closer and closer. Excited to have an 100K day. I don't care if it's like one trade 100K or if I trade like my indices portfolio, which is on Athens, which I'll just put X amount of dollars in the account and I make 50K there and another 50K on futures. But I definitely want to go for my record again. I definitely want to go for my record again. I need another like solid month of just clean price action and it'll get done. All right, everybody, welcome back to another breakdown. So in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down on how I made almost $55,000 today. This is so far my biggest trading day for manually trading in 2024, which we're just starting off the year. And on the right note as well, this is also my biggest trade in March as well. So today, as you guys can see, I made a $54,000 total P&L. I'm $54,000, $495 profit, which was a fantastic trading day today so far. So I want to get into the breakdown on how I actually caught this position. Now, going over into my TradeZilla stats, which by the way, for those of you guys that want to take your trading to the next level and are really looking to improve your trading, TradeZilla is probably the best trading journal out there currently. And for those of you guys that want a discount off of your first month on TradeZilla, you could use code Raul10 for 10% off. I highly recommend you guys actually invest into TradeZilla just simply because you can get all this stats and statistics that you guys need to consistently improve your trading. And like I always say in my other videos, just like if you were to run a normal business, this is essentially the tools that you need to run your trading business, which is some form of a trading journal. I like TradeZilla because it's automated and gives you all the statistics you need. So first and foremost, I took two trades. So this is the second trade that I took, which netted me a total profit of $22,735. And then this is the first trade of the day that I actually took. I only took two trades today, which they made me a total of $54,000. And this is going to be on my futures portfolio on TradeStation, which is a US regulated brokerage. I like to kind of take my trades light. And although I still had a very light risk on the day, according to my portfolio, it was still a huge trading day. Today I ended up making an R multiple roughly 10R. So looking into the statistics of the trades themselves, you guys can see this was the entry that I actually ended up taking here on the first position, which I ended up entering the markets roughly around the 5106.5 area, which is going to be roughly around this range right here, 5106.5. So this is going to be my entry on my first trade of the day, and the exit was all the way up here at this candlestick. So going over the actual trades themselves. So on my very first trade of the day, I was risking roughly $6,100 on this position. It wasn't actually $6,650. I was risking roughly $6,100 on this position. I was actually looking to gain a little bit less. I was looking to gain roughly $25,000 on this trade. The targets were up here roughly in the 5120s area, and I actually ended up securing a little bit more than that, which was a fantastic trade. So the R multiple that I actually realized on this trade was a 4.78 R multiple, meaning for every $100 that I risked in the markets, I was able to gain $478. The planned R multiple was a 4-to-1 R multiple, and as you guys can see, I was risking only $6,000, and I ended up making a total net profit of around $31,000, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now the play that I ended up taking today is a bounce play. For those of you guys that are in my community and trade with me, you guys will already know what a bounce play is, but for those of you that don't trade with me, essentially what I'm looking for is for buying or selling pressure at an area of previous support or resistance, which if we look at the reasons for the entry, I had the rejection candle and I also had the support bounce. This was a little bit more of an aggressive entry on this trade because I entered off of a rejection candlestick and I was looking for price action and for momentum to just completely go in the opposite direction. Now I exited the position because we had a rejection of resistance and I was still up a pretty good R multiple, and we were in an overall bullish condition from the overnight session, which is why I decided to actually go long. So that is going to be the first position of the day. After this kind of trade breakdown itself, looking at the P&L and everything, we'll go into the actual charts themselves. Then the second trade of the day, where I ended up making $22,000, was actually on a short. And again, I secured another 5R multiple on this. So I was risking roughly around $4,700 on this trade, which realistically is actually around like $4,500 on this specific trade. And now my initial take profit was a $15,000 gain. So I was looking at gaining roughly a 3R multiple on this trade, and I was able to secure almost a 5R multiple by really just letting my winners run on this specific trade. Now, this trade as well was also a bounce play, but the entry was a little bit more conservative, which is why we just saw price action just completely dump right after the entry. Sometimes when I take these more conservative entries, the risk to reward really isn't that great, but on this specific position, right after I took the position, it was like so close to where I wanted to actually get into the market that the R multiple really didn't have like a crazy difference. Like a lot of the times when I do take my conservative entries, I'll put a little bit less risk on the trade just simply because the stop loss size is a little bit larger. This is why I had a $6,000 risk on my very first trade of the day, and I had a less risk on this position. I had a almost $5,000 risk on this specific trade, just because on the conservative entries, my stops are larger versus my aggressive entries. My stops are typically a little bit smaller. Now I got out because of the R multiple. I was again risking 4,500 bucks, and I ended up making, and I was floating in profit like $25,000. So I decided to actually just close the position, and overall we were in a bullish trend. So I know that this is going to be a counter trending position, which, going back to the stats here, again, absolutely phenomenal trade. We realized a 4.7 R multiple and made $22,000 in the trade, leaving us with a total net profit of $54,495. So it's absolutely been a phenomenal trend day today so far. Now, going into the reasons as to why I actually took the trades that I did. So on the overnight session, price action, well, before the overnight session, earlier on, or the previous trading day, price action had actually bounced off of the week's lows, and we saw price action start trading back above this key level being 50.89, and then we saw price action in the overnight session start trading above 51.05, which, as long as price action could have maintained under 51.05, I was looking to go short. Even in the pre-market, I was still looking to go short, and I was looking to go short on this range here, but I was a little bit hesitant because we had some data coming out. We had the Jerome Powell testimony where he did touch up on interest rates and different things along those lines, and then we also had job openings as well. So I would have most definitely taken this short off of 51.20, looking for price action to come back down to 51.05, which, before we get into anything else, 51.05 is going to be this previous key level here that you can see on this 30-minute time frame. We have resistance along this range, resistance, and then we also had some support here, and then we had a resistance hold as well in the overnight session, which is why I have 51.05 marked off as a key level. Then I also have 51.20 marked off as a key level as well, because if we go back into previous price action, this is going to be Friday, there was actually 1,500 orders that actually got filled here, and then we saw price rally. So it was definitely an area of interest to me. So it's like, okay, well, 1,500 orders got filled here, and then we saw price actually rally, then we saw price action dump, and on the previous trading day, we saw price again come back up into this 51.20 area, and then we saw another dump off this area. There's clearly a lot of orders in this 51.20 area, and I definitely want to pay attention to it. So that's why I was kind of looking to short it in the pre-market, but because, again, like, you know, this kind of can be associated with trading psychology, and it could just be associated from like a risk perspective as well. You know, trading before news or trading before data actually coming out can be seen as pretty risky, but then at the same exact time, it's kind of like, you know what, like, I just don't want to be taking on this risk here, whether wait for the data to come out and the market settle, and then I could start looking to take positions. So price action ended up dumping, and then we had the Jerome Powell testimony. Price action dumped as well initially at 10 a.m. along with job openings. Now, other than that, we did have price action start trading back above the 51.05 range, and then we had price action start to consolidate above the 51.05 range. So to me, my game plan was, okay, well, if price action could just pull back into the 51.50s range, and we could see a rejection off this area, and we do see price action actually holding this area, then I could look to take buys up into the 51.20s. So basically, when price action just came down and gave me that first rejection of the 51.05s area, is roughly where I decided to actually take the position with my stop loss. I believe my stop loss was around the 51.02s, maybe even the 51.03s area, but I'm pretty sure it was the 51.02.5, just to give you guys like a kind of rough estimate there. And my take profit was all the way up into this range over here, which is going to be 51.20s. So to give you guys kind of like a game plan and a rough estimate of essentially where my head was, again, like, we could look at the actual entry here itself. The average entry was 51.06.5, so it's going to be roughly around this area over here, 51.06.5, and the stop loss was down here, so kind of pinned the R multiple there. And again, like, when I'm actually trading, I'm not like being super precise as to, okay, I'm going to risk a maximum of $5,000, and then I'm going to be looking to place my stop loss here. To me, my trading is, okay, like, I have a general idea. I know if I enter the markets right now, I could safely put my stops down here. So I'm pretty sure my stops were like the 51.02.25s, and the take profit was up here. It's like, okay, well, I'm
for sure getting over a 2-to-1 or multiple on this trade. So I'm going to look to execute this position just to kind of generalize things. Again, these markets move very fast, and you need to be able to have the speed and thinking and actually the ability to act on when the markets are moving very quick. So I entered the position basically right here after price action gave us that first rejection. Now price action came back down, rejected again, and then price action flew. When price action, I'm going to mark off my entry here at 5106.5. When price action actually did rally for the first time and we did get that initial pump from the buyers, at that point in time is when I moved my stop loss to break even. So my stop loss was around this area over here, basically just flat break even, and I kept holding the position. At this point in time, I was floating in profit maybe $13,000. So I was like, you know what? Like I was risking $6,000. I'm up $13,000. Like there should be no reason as to why I lose money in this position anymore. You know what? If I get taken out of break even and price action comes back down and the trade is still valid, then I'll just execute a position again. But this is where like trading psychology really comes into play, because then it's also like, okay, well, if that's the case, I could just close at a $13,000 gain, wait for price action to come back down and give me that other retest rejection, and then look for price action to continue to go bullish and in my favor for me to continue to take those buys and continue to hold that position. But then it's like, I already entered, I have a great entry, you know what, I could just hold my trade at break even. So this is where trading psychology really comes into play, and as price action continues to give you more data is when you're going to be able to make better decisions in the markets based off of what that data is actually telling you. Also, when it came down to like the footprint charts, and I'm still, again, looking at the footprint charts and reading the footprint charts, what we could see on ES as well is, of course, we have the orders on the bid and on the ask. I don't have like my main setup here, so I can't show you the delta volume that I was looking at here. But essentially, like I saw a lot of selling pressure come down into this area, and it looked like those orders were actually getting absorbed because there was no real follow through with the actual sellers themselves. And I have to put that into my notes again. I forgot to explain that to you guys here. So again, like the way I could basically explain it to you guys is, if you see a ton of orders start hitting the bid, which is aggressive selling, and there's no follow through with the sellers, and you see rejection on your price action charts because it's different, right? Then essentially those orders are getting absorbed, and we saw price actually fly. And I also saw it on the heat map as well, which I can't really pull that up for you guys there on this setup here. But like I was saying, at that point in time, price pulled back to the VWAP, gave me a balance, and I just continued to hold the position. Now, when price action actually ended up closing up here and gave me this huge bullish engulfing candlestick, I trailed my stop loss to the low of that candlestick, which is going to be right here, because I knew, hey, you know what, with all of this volume that we're seeing, and we're seeing all of this aggressive buying in the markets, if price were to come back down, then most likely price is going to come back down into 5105 anyway. So I want to move my stop loss and at least secure something at this point in time. And again, like I'm only really looking at the footprint charts when it comes to my key levels. Once I already have my entry, I don't look at the footprint charts anymore. I'll just kind of look at delta volume, the delta volume footprint from there on to see if like there's still volume in my favor. And then price action ended up going and pretty much trading all the way up into this range here. Now I actually continued to hold my position because I saw there to be a great possibility that price action continued to trade higher. But then I ended up closing my position on this candlestick on the pullback because I didn't like how price action was starting to come down with a lot of aggression. There was a lot of aggressive selling in this area, and of course I didn't see any follow through with the buyer, so I decided to actually close my position then and there. Now, I took a break from the charts, came back later. I ended up taking my second position because on the buys, if price action would have continued, and what I was telling everybody inside of the day trading institution on the Zoom was basically, if we do see price action consolidate and maintain above 5120, then we can most likely see price come up into 5132. Now, why 5132? If we go to the 15-minute time frame, we see that on this trading day, price action came all the way down to the lows at 5132 in the pre-market, and we saw a huge move to the upside from there. So that's definitely an area of interest for me. So we can see that 5132 was actually rejected, and by the time I came back to the markets, price was here. So for me, it's like, okay, well, if we can see price action give us a solid break and a retest above 5132.25, then I could definitely look to short this area. Then again, like looking at the footprint chart, say, okay, well, let's see what the action looks like here at this area of previous resistance. We had a ton of orders actually start coming into this area, and then what I also saw here, notice on the footprint charts as well, is like, again, like you can look at like the bid and the ask difference. You can look at the delta, which is the difference between the bid and the ask themselves. And if I were to pull the delta footprint up, it's like, okay, well, there was a bunch of orders actually coming in for the buys, and there was no follow through. We actually got a rejection candlestick off this area. How risky do I actually want to play this trade? So once I saw price action give us that rejection here at 51.32, not only did we have buyers struggle, all of this aggressive buying struggle to push through 51.32, again, it just simply told me that these orders were actually being absorbed. And on the heat brain, on the book map, what I also saw as well is that there was a ton of passive orders in this area as well. Now, passive orders could be two things. It could be either just limit orders of sellers trying to get in at that specific price, or it could also just be take profits as well. So what I saw again was there's a ton of aggressive buying in this area. Just go back to the footprint chart. There's a ton of aggressive buying inside of this area here, and there was no follow through with the sellers. So it's there's no follow through with the buyers. So it's like, okay, well, these orders are most likely just being absorbed. And the same thing happened over here. So I was on the 3-minute time frame, and once price action gave me that extra rejection again, what I was simply looking for was like, okay, well, I can take the entry right now and have a super small stop loss at like 51.34 and essentially risk almost nothing on this trade, but there's a good chance I'm going to get stopped out, or I can just wait for price action to start breaking under one of these candlestick lows and where I can actually execute the trade. So basically it was super slow at first. I'll see if the 1 minute can actually catch it. It was super slow at first. I went on to the 1 minute time frame. I saw this variation pattern, and basically when this variation pattern closed and we had the 3-minute time frame break under the previous 3-minute candlestick's lowest low, which is going to be the low of the opening candlestick, is when I actually executed the position with my stop loss at 51.34, which going back into TradeZilla here, we have the average entry being 51.131, which is going to be roughly around this area. Here's where I executed the position. Stops are at this area up here. Now the game plan on this trade again was a bounce play off of this area here because of the reasons that I stated with order flow, and then price action as well, where at key level we're rejecting this area pretty nicely. So this is what the actual trade itself looked like in my head when I was putting it out. So when I was actually planning this trade out, it looked like an average R multiple of roughly a 3R multiple, where I was risking $4,700 on this trade to potentially gain $15,000. Now, when this candlestick closed, when this 3-minute candlestick closed, I went to the 5-minute candlestick. It's like, oh my gosh, like there's a shit ton of volume coming in and price is just dumping. I literally was just like, okay, I'm moving my take profit down into this area, because if price breaks back under 51.20, which it looks like it is, we're going to see price action most likely come back down to the 51.05s, and that would be like an absolutely killer trade. So price action just completely dumped, and I ended up securing somewhere down here at this position, which as you guys can see, let's see, the average exit was 51.19. I ended up securing roughly around here. That's because price action like started to slow down a little bit, and we were starting to pull back up, and I was like, you know what, like I've blown past my TP, I'm good on the day, I've already made $30,000, let's just secure the trade and call it a day. That's exactly what I did. Sure, could I have held through this area here, but most likely like what would have happened in this situation with this type of rejection and this type of pullback is I would have just closed the position probably somewhere along this area here and fear that price is going to come on the way back. So today was a fantastic trading day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. For those of you guys that want more free value, I do have a free course for beginners that you could download with the link in the description, or you can also join the free Telegram. I post breakdowns on there literally all of the time. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.